In this video, I'm going to talk about how my schizoid personality disorder affects the way that I communicate with other people, and in particular, I want to talk about the issue of having stilted speech. So, this is going to be the first of a few videos about schizoid personality disorder. I won't go too much into the details of what it is, but I will talk about stilted speech. So stilted speech is characterized by an overly formal way of communicating with people. So for some people, when they talk, they use like vocabulary and grammar that would be you'd expect somebody to use in writing rather than in a conversation, and it can cause someone to be very long-winded in their explanations of things, like unnecessarily like repeating certain things and saying the same thing in different ways, and also going back and correcting oneself, like overly correcting oneself, and also like over-explaining. So this speech is known to have irregular porosity and intonation. So when we look at what is porosity, and I have a definition here, and it is the patterns of rhythm and sound used in poetry, or the patterns of stress and intonation in language. So in this case, we're talking about the patterns of stress and intonation in language. So what that means is you can overly stress certain words and put emphasis on words in places where you may not really need to put emphasis, and anyway, in a way that might seem that you're putting a lot of emphasis onto words. So it can mean that you talk too forcefully, and it can make you seem like pompous or condescending, and some people with stilted speech, they'll use like overly sort of like big words that sometimes like other people might not understand. I personally don't think that I do this, but anyway. But there is a irregularity in the way that words are stressed or delivered. So for example, like a person with stilted speech, they might talk too loud, or they might talk too quietly, and basically the pitch rate, it varies from normal speech. So so it can be difficult, like for me to maintain a consistent volume. And it's like, for example, like at the end of the words, sometimes I might sound like I'm asking a question, but I'm not asking a question, and that is part of stilted speech. There are other personality disorders or conditions that can produce people that have stilted speech, such as autism and schizoid personality disorder, as you know, that's me, and schizotypal personality disorder as well. And the other thing about communicating with schizoid personality disorder is that as one of the symptoms of schizoid personality disorder, that we have flattened affect. So what that means is that there isn't a lot of emotion or pep or exuberance in the delivery. It can sound quite dull and sometimes a bit monotone. So I had that issue with some negative comments. I made a profile video when I was talking about the channel, and I had some negative comments saying that I sounded like I needed coffee, I sounded tired, like I sounded like a disinterested school teacher, and yeah, this has not really been very easy for me to really feel confident in talking to people with stilted speech and flat affect, because I feel that like if people don't understand that it's part of a condition, that might sound like I don't really want to be making videos, or I might sound like I'm talking to people in a rude manner when I'm not talking to people in a rude manner. It's just part of my personality disorder. So yeah, if you are interested, oh yeah, with stilted speech there's also a lot of pauses like in between the words that other people may regard as unnecessary compared to normal speech. So in that sense, it can sound quite sort of choppy or broken up. I wanted to say that if you want to hear like more examples of stilted speech, I'd have a 13-minute video on BNI-NFJ that you can hear me talking and you hear the stilted speech and the flat effect in full flow. So I will link the video to this video so that you can watch that if you want. Anything else to say? Yeah, I'm going to be doing some more videos on Schizoid Personality Disorder, talking about the disorder, exactly what it is in greater depth. I'm going to go through the different criteria for diagnosing Schizoid Personality Disorder, and also I hope to make some personality animations in future involving some characters that have Schizoid Personality Disorder. There's a lot to say on the issue. Also, I want to talk about the different MBTI types and how having Schizoid Personality Disorder may affect their lives. So for now, it's goodbye and thanks for watching.